I did the math on who wins the NBA Finals, and I hate to break it to San Antonio fans, but it's basically over. One team is up 2-0, and when you pull the history of what that lead actually means, the number is brutal. But there's a catch that gives the Spurs a sliver of hope. Let me walk you through all of it. Here's the situation. New York leads the series 2-0, with both wins coming in San Antonio. To even have this conversation, the Spurs have to do something only a tiny handful of teams in history have ever done. So how steep is the climb actually? Let's put real numbers on it. This is Game is Culture. Real quick before we dig in, if you like breakdowns that actually show the math instead of just yelling takes at you, go hit subscribe. It's free and it genuinely helps. So click it. Start with the wall San Antonio is staring at. Historically, teams that take a 2-0 lead in the NBA Finals go on to win the series the overwhelming majority of the time, somewhere around 9 out of every 10. I want to be upfront, that's a historical reference, not a number I can compute live. But the direction has held for decades. A 2-0 finals lead has almost always been the ball game. And it makes sense. To go up 2-0, you've proven you're the better team twice. Now the trailing team has to flip that result 4 times in 5 tries, often with the math and the schedule against them. The deeper into a series you fall behind, the heavier every remaining game gets. And the schedule doesn't do San Antonio any favors. The series now shifts to New York for the next 2 games. So a team that just lost twice at home has to go win on the road in one of the loudest buildings in sports just to keep its season alive. Down 0-2 with the venue flipping against you is about as steep as a finals climb gets. But it has happened, so let's give the Spurs their hope. A few teams have climbed out of an 0-2 finals hole and won it all. The 1977 Trailblazers, the 2006 Miami Heat, the 2021 Milwaukee Bucks. Each one lost the first 2 and then ripped off 4 wins to take the title. So it's not impossible, it's just rare enough that we still name the teams that did it decades later. Notice what every one of those teams had. A superstar playing at an all-time level, and just enough around him. The Heat had Dwayne Wade going supernova. The Bucks had Giannis. If San Antonio is going to join that list, it needs Wembanyama to be the best player on the floor every single night. And it needs help to actually show up. But here's the part that turns the wall into a cliff. If San Antonio loses Game 3, they fall behind 0-3. And here is the most ironclad number in all of basketball. No team in the entire history of the NBA in any playoff series has ever come back from 0-3. Not once. Hundreds of tries, 0 escapes. So Game 3 isn't just important, it's the whole season. So here's literally what San Antonio has to do. Win Game 3 to avoid the cliff, then win Game 4, then win 4 of the next 5 overall, with at least one of those on the road in New York against the team that's beaten them twice. Say it out loud and you understand the odds. It's not impossible, it's just a gauntlet almost nobody has ever cleared. Let that number sink in. 0. In thousands of playoff series across 70 plus years, the number of teams that have come back from 0-3 is exactly 0. So while a 2-0 hole is survivable in theory, a 3-0 hole has a perfect, unbroken record of ending seasons. San Antonio is 1 loss from the only deficit that has never been beaten. Quick interruption, because now I'm going to argue the other side. Hit subscribe if you're enjoying this. I'm not going to beg, but I am going to ask, so hit it and I'll wait. So why isn't this actually over? Here's San Antonio's real case. Because the games have been razor close. New York won Game 1 by 10 and Game 2 by a single point. That's a combined margin of 11 over 2 games. The Spurs aren't being blown out. They've been a couple of possessions, 1 clean inbounds, 1 made jumper away from leading this series themselves.
And they have the best player in the series. Wembanyama has been the most productive player of the entire postseason. If the supporting cast wakes up for even 1 game, San Antonio can steal Game 3, change the math, and suddenly that 90% number starts to wobble. Talent this good is exactly the kind that makes history nervous. But here's the condition on that hope. Wembanyama can't do it alone, and so far he's mostly had to. For San Antonio to flip this, the supporting cast has to wake up, the bench has to score, the turnovers have to stop. The talent to make history is on the roster. The question is whether anyone besides the superstar shows up to help write it. 2 games in, the answer has been no. So you've got two truths fighting each other. The history says New York wins this around 9 times out of 10. The eye test says it's a few bounces from being even. Both are real. The deficit is steep, and the games have been close enough that one San Antonio win flips the entire feel of the series. So here's my honest call. I think New York wins this, probably in 5 or 6 games. Their formula, depth, efficiency, and closing is repeatable, and the 0-2 hole plus the 0-3 cliff is just too much to ask a young, thin team to overcome. But if any roster has the raw talent to make history, it's this one. Wembanyama is the kind of player who can drag a team somewhere it has no business going. So I'll leave it with you. Do you trust the history that says this is basically over, or the talent that says don't bury San Antonio yet? Game 3 decides which story we're telling. Tell me your prediction down in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to subscribe. We're in a race to 1,000 subscribers, so please join the family.